From the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel, this is your afternoon update.
Hey folks, good afternoon and happy Easter. Hope you had a nice day so far. Remember this morning and yesterday when we were talking about those clouds? Sure enough, we got them. Check out here in North Alabama, you can see those widespread overcast conditions really taking hold. No moisture though, it's just in the upper levels. We're not going to be seeing any rain today. Definitely don't blame this guy for going out fishing though. It's 70 already here with a dew point of 61. By the way, you can see it's getting more humid. That's a sign of that moisture moving in across the area due to that south-south wind at 10 to 15 miles an hour. So we're definitely picking up much more warm air. We actually call this in the business warm air advection, which means we're getting a lot of warm air in from the Gulf of Mexico. Lawrenceburg, very similar story. A few breaks in the clouds, but we're still mostly cloudy as expected. Already here at 70, and we're going to continue to warm up over the next several hours as well. In fact, if we take a look at the big picture, we can kind of see the general gist of what's going on. Lots of southerlies coming out here all the way up to Kentucky. Of course, that system is still stirring up there off to our west out there in the Great Plains. That's going to cause some severe weather there, maybe even here as we head through the next several days. I'll discuss that more in a few moments. Here's a widespread temperature picture. You can kind of see the temperatures sort of suppressed by the cloud cover, but I don't think it's going to do us a lot of favors in terms of keeping us too much cooler, because I think we're actually going to end up in the upper 70s when all is said and done with it here over the next several hours. So if you have some Easter egg hunts going on through the rest of this afternoon, good weather for it, that much is for sure. You know, like I said earlier this morning and yesterday, you might be dealing with some clouds, sure, but that's not going to be enough to really tamper the spirits, right? We're definitely going to be in the mid to upper 70s there with the wind still staying pretty brisk. I do think we're going to pick it up to about 15 to 20 miles an hour through this afternoon and evening, but besides that, 2 thumbs up from me. Looks like you're all clear for the rest of the day. There are those highs getting up in 76 to 78 range. Some of us in North Alabama might hit 80, but I think most of us are probably going to stay there in that kind of 76, 77, 78 sort of range out there. Notice that wind still staying really sharp out of the south there through tonight and into tomorrow morning as well. Notice we actually stay in the 60s due to that cloud cover insulating the atmosphere through tonight and tomorrow morning. And then as we head through tomorrow, it's a very similar day. I think what you're seeing today is kind of what you can expect for your Monday, widespread upper 70s and lower 80s. I do think we're all going to probably end up seeing some 80s when all is said and done with it for our Monday. Again, wind staying pretty sharp out of the south and southwest. Check this trend out though. That warmth, not long for this world. Through Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I think we're going to be cooling down quite a bit due to this frontal passage coming through Tuesday. And watch where my finger is here. Boom. Rain chances really ticking up, of course. We've been talking about this over the last several days. This is our next thunderstorm chance. And in fact, I do think severe weather is possible with the system as well. Of course, area-wide, we actually have a level 2 out of 5 risk from the Storm Prediction Center and a level 3 out of 5 risk right about here, extending north. Remains to be seen if that goes south or north, of course, but we have some pretty decent chances of severe weather. Currently looking at 60-mile-an-hour plus winds with some of the stronger storms and hail larger than an inch in diameter. I'm actually thinking the thermodynamics, which is kind of the atmospheric conditions for this, are fairly favorable for hail, more so than you would expect typically for this time of year. And of course, there is some degree of tornado threat. This is kind of the big X factor a lot of people have had questions about, and the one that we've been keeping a very close eye on. Model data is coming in, and some suggest one pattern, some suggest another, but here's what I think is kind of the consensus at the moment. It's not a zero tornado threat, but it's also not some huge widespread outbreak. But it doesn't take that to be dangerous. I do think if some of these storms can root, as we call it, and kind of get on towards a right-turning system and kind of suck in some more inflow, well, we might see actually a pretty decent tornado threat with some of those storms. If they don't do that, well, maybe not quite as much, and I think we'd be talking about the damaging winds and hail. But all in all, I think what we need to focus on, hail, damaging winds, and the possibility from tornado warnings to pop up there as we head to the day after tomorrow. So let's keep a very close eye on this, okay? Just because it's not some huge level 5 out of 5 risk does not mean it's not dangerous. Certainly is. Of course, as we're heading into April, that's usually our peak season here in Dixie Alley, as we call it down here. You know, there's Tornado Alley out west, there's Dixie Alley down here, and a year ago today, we saw the 3rd biggest tornado outbreak in history, so definitely don't let your guard down on days like this. So we'll keep a very close eye on this and see how this evolves. Again, that's Tuesday afternoon through Tuesday evening. Hour by hour, upper 70s today, 80s tomorrow, and then again, like we were saying, keep an eye on Tuesday. That's going to be midday Tuesday towards the evening Tuesday. We'll be with you nonstop if anything does happen there until the danger is over. And of course, in the meantime, we'll have several updates to see how that evolves. Behind it, though, check out that cool down trend. Not going to last too long, maybe a couple days, sure, but I do think spring is going to come back pretty quickly. By next weekend, we're back in the upper 60s, mostly dry. Current conditions seem to suggest kind of, upper 60s, partly cloudy skies for next weekend. So we do have nice weather on the horizon. And of course, today and tomorrow actually looking pretty good. But I want to reiterate one more time, stay with us because Tuesday looks to be a little bit rambunctious across the Tennessee Valley.